Hi, I'm Olivia, aka Biblioghoul. Happy Pride, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a June TBR and listing some books I'm going to be reading this month. I'll be doing the Queer Lit Readathon and the Queer Blackathon. So some of the books that I've picked are applicable to the challenges there. I will list the information in the box below. So this month I'm trying to read as many LGBTQ, as many queer books as I can. Woohoo! So the first book is The Seep by Chana Porter. It follows a trans woman who lives in a world where this alien entity called the Seep is invading the area, and I think there's like a lot of reflection or discussion of capitalism and hierarchy in the book, so I'm excited to read it. And that is the only physical book that I have so far. The next book is Her Body and Other Parties by Carmen Maria Machado. Carmen became one of my favorite authors after I read In the Dream House, which is amazing. If you haven't read it, definitely check it out. It examines abuse in queer relationships, but through all the perspectives of different tropes and different lenses. But this book, Her Body and Other Parties, is a bunch of short stories about violence against women's bodies. So I know she'll be bringing that horror aspect to it, and I'm beyond excited. The next book is Transgender History by Susan Stryker. There's not really much to say. I just want to learn about transgender history, and I usually don't like big sweeping books like this that try to cover everything, but I've heard that it's great, so I will be digging into that. So the next book is She of the Mountains by Vivek Shraya. It follows a queer boy in Canada who is coming to terms with his identity through examining gender in Hindu mythology. So, sounds interesting. The next book is Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon. This is actually the group read for Queer Blackathon, but I've been wanting to read a Rivers Solomon book forever, so I'm excited to finally do so. Sorrowland is about a woman who is stuck in some kind of religious compound, and she escapes into the woods to give birth, but there's horrors there too. It was described as a gothic book, so that definitely drew me in. We'll see how it is. So next is Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. I read The Death of Vivek Oji, and it's definitely going to be in my top 5 of this year. Such a good writer. In Freshwater, the main character grows up in Nigeria, has fractured senses of themselves. I don't know much more than that, but I can't wait to read it. Next is One Last Stop by Casey Mcquiston. Casey Mcquiston wrote another really popular book, Red, White, and Royal Blue, I think it's called, which I'm definitely interested in reading because it's been getting rave reviews. But One Last Stop is about a girl who accidentally goes back in time and to the 70s and falls in love. That sounds a lot better to me than the plot of the other book, which is two boys who are princes or the son of a president or something like that. So I'm not really into books that kind of touch on politics but don't take a deeper dive. So I'm starting off with One Last Stop, and maybe I will read that afterwards if I like the author's writing. Next is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, one of the queens of speculative fiction. So I've been wanting to read this for a while, but I haven't gotten to it, so this month, hopefully, I will end up reading it. I honestly don't even know the plot of this. I think it's like apocalyptic or some kind of sci-fi like world, but I'm just trusting the rave reviews of every single person that's read this book. So yeah. Next is Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde, just a seminal piece of feminist. Wait, I don't even use this word. Why am I using it now? Just an essential text in Black feminist thought that I haven't read, which is a shame, so I'm gonna read it this month. Next is The Chosen and the Beautiful, which is on my most anticipated reads of 2021 list. It is a retelling of Great Gatsby, except Jordan Baker is queer and Asian, and there is some magical element, I believe, to the book too, so really excited for this. Hopefully 500 other people don't have it on their waitlist at the library. So next is Ring Shout by P. Shelley Clark, and this book kind of flips Birth of the Nation, if you know that movie. The Ku Klux Klan members in this book are demons that get summoned, and there are 3 young African women who are fighting them. So it sounds wild, and I'm into it. So last and not least, I'll be reading Sexuality and Socialism by Sherry Wolfe. I was actually in a queer socialist book club where this was one of the main texts we were reading, but we didn't read the whole book. So after reading analysis about sexuality and the family and capitalism, and how capitalism created different categories for sexuality, I really want to read more. So that's all the books that I'll be reading this month. Hopefully I can get to all of them, but I have a really busy month for work, so fingers crossed. Comment below if you have any queer book recommendations for me, especially queer history. I would love that. But yeah, thanks for watching.